The California sun cast a hazy glow over Los Angeles, its usual brightness dimmed by the thick veil of smoke that clung to the sky. Wildfires had swept through neighborhoods, leaving behind a trail of devastation, charred homes, blackened hillsides, and displaced families grappling with loss. It was during this somber period that Melania Trump, known for her humanitarian efforts, decided to step in to offer her support and solidarity to the affected community. Arriving in Los Angeles, Melania's motorcade was met by a mix of community leaders, firefighters, and volunteers who had been tirelessly battling the flames and helping families rebuild their lives. Clad in a simple yet elegant white blouse paired with comfortable denim, she stepped out with a look of determination and empathy etched on her face. There was no need for grand speeches or media spectacles. Her presence alone spoke volumes about her intent to stand with those who were suffering. Her first stop was a local community center that had been transformed into a shelter for evacuees. Families who had lost everything sat together, leaning on each other for comfort, while volunteers handed out supplies and food. As Melania walked through the makeshift aisles of cots and folding chairs, her heart ached at the sight of children clutching toys salvaged from the rubble and parents trying to maintain a sense of normalcy amidst the chaos. One mother approached her cautiously, holding the hand of her young daughter. "Thank you for coming," the woman said softly. "It means so much that someone cares." Melania gently placed her hand on the woman's shoulder, offering a reassuring smile. "Your strength is incredible," she said warmly. "You and your family are not alone. We will do everything we can to help you rebuild." The child at her side tugged on Melania's sleeve, her innocent eyes wide with curiosity. "Are you here to help us?" she asked in a voice barely above a whisper. "Yes, sweetheart," Melania replied, crouching down to meet the girl's gaze. "I'm here to help in any way I can." As the day progressed, Melania visited several affected neighborhoods where homes had been reduced to ash and debris. Homeowners shared their stories of survival and their resolve to rebuild. Melania listened intently, her compassion evident in the way she engaged with each person. Her ability to connect on a human level, devoid of pretense, left a lasting impression on those she met. As Melania continued her visit, she made her way to a neighborhood that had borne the brunt of the fire's fury. Entire streets were lined with the skeletal remains of homes, blackened chimneys standing as solemn markers of what once was. Despite the devastation, small signs of hope emerged: neighbors working together to clear debris, children drawing messages of encouragement on makeshift boards, and volunteers handing out bottled water and supplies. One resident, an elderly man named Robert, stood outside the ruins of what used to be his family home. His face was lined with years of hard work and recent heartbreak. Melania approached him with quiet respect, extending her hand. "I never thought I'd be here, shaking hands with a First Lady," Robert said, his voice rough but touched by gratitude. "I've lost almost everything, but knowing someone like you came out here to see us, it means a lot." Melania squeezed his hand gently. "You are not forgotten, Robert," she assured him. "Your courage and the strength of this community are inspiring. We stand with you to help rebuild not just homes but hope." Her words, though simple, resonated deeply with the residents who gathered nearby. In a time of hardship, such acknowledgement was a balm for their weary spirits. Melania's approach was not about grand gestures, but about making genuine connections, one person at a time. Later in the day, she joined a group of volunteers assembling care packages for displaced families. The room buzzed with activity, filled with people folding blankets, organizing toiletries, and packing non-perishable food. Melania slipped on a pair of gloves and quietly got to work beside them, her actions speaking louder than words. One of the volunteers, a young woman named Maria, smiled warmly at her. "Thank you for being here. It's not every day someone like you rolls up their sleeves and works side by side with us." Melania returned the smile, modest as always. "Every small effort counts, Maria. Together, we can make a difference." As the afternoon sun dipped lower in the sky, casting golden hues over the scarred landscape, Melania continued working alongside the volunteers. Despite the physical toll, she remained determined. The camaraderie in the room lifted everyone's spirits, as people shared stories of loss and resilience. One man, David, whose family bakery had been destroyed by the fire, expressed his determination to rebuild. "This was our family's pride for generations. We've been through tough times before we'll get through this too." Melania nodded, her eyes filled with empathy. Your spirit is what makes this community strong. When you reopen your bakery, it will stand as a testament to your resilience." Encouraged by her words, David promised to invite her for a slice of their signature pie when that day came. Laughter rippled through the room, a brief but needed reminder that hope could still flourish amidst the ashes. Later, Melania joined a gathering organized by local leaders to provide updates on relief efforts and listen to the concerns of residents. Her presence was both symbolic and practical. She wanted to ensure that the voices of the affected families were heard at the highest levels. During the meeting, a young boy named Leo bravely approached the microphone to speak. His family had lost their home and their pet dog during the fires. His small voice quivered as he spoke about missing his dog but hoping his family could stay strong. Melania knelt down beside him, offering comfort. "Leo, you are so brave," she said gently. "Your strength is helping your family. And sometimes the love we share with our pets stays with us forever, even when they're not by our side." Tears welled up in the eyes of many attendees. Leo smiled faintly, inspired in her kindness. The community saw in Melania not just a political figure, but a compassionate woman who understood their pain and stood with them in solidarity. As the meeting concluded, Melania Trump expressed her gratitude to the community for sharing their stories and allowing her to be part of their journey toward healing and recovery. "I see your strength and determination," she said sincerely. "It is inspiring, and I will take your voices back with me to ensure they are heard." The attendees responded with applause, their spirits visibly lifted by her heartfelt commitment. Despite the immense challenges they faced, the community was united in their resolve to rebuild and thrive once again. Before leaving the gathering, Melania spent time speaking personally with several families, offering words of encouragement and listening intently to their needs. A mother whose house had been reduced to ashes expressed her gratitude. "You being here gives us hope," she said, her voice trembling. "We need people to know what's happening and understand that we'll rise from this." Melania placed a hand on the woman's shoulder. "The world will know your strength. What you are doing here is remarkable." As evening fell, Melania toured a temporary shelter set up for displaced families. Children played with donated toys while volunteers prepared warm meals. Despite the hardships, a sense of community blossomed in the shelter. Melania knelt beside a group of children drawing pictures of their homes before the fire, offering them words of praise for their artwork. One little girl shyly handed Melania her drawing, a colorful image of a house surrounded by flowers and smiling faces. "This is what our home will look like when it's fixed," the girl said confidently. Melania smiled warmly. "It's beautiful, and I believe your home will be just like this again, full of joy and love." Her genuine compassion left a lasting impression on everyone she encountered. The families, still grappling with loss, found solace in her presence. Melania's visit symbolized that they were not forgotten, that their struggles were acknowledged, and their future held hope. As Melania stood up from speaking with the young girl, she noticed the flicker of determination in the eyes of those around her. Despite their circumstances, the families were showing remarkable strength. The makeshift shelter buzzed with activity, volunteers distributing supplies, children laughing as they played, and conversations filled with resilience rather than despair. Melania moved through the shelter, shaking hands and exchanging warm words with everyone she met. A group of firefighters, resting after a grueling shift battling the wildfires, caught her attention. Their uniforms were marked with soot, and their faces bore the lines of exhaustion. "Thank you for your courage and dedication," Melania said earnestly, her voice carrying genuine appreciation. "Your bravery is what keeps these families safe." One firefighter, visibly touched by her acknowledgement, responded humbly, "We just do what we can, ma'am. But seeing someone like you here means a lot to this community." Her visit extended well into the evening, and the atmosphere transformed from solemn to hopeful. As the stars appeared over Los Angeles, Melania stood by a bonfire built to provide warmth to the families gathered. Local musicians had come together to offer music, bringing moments of levity to the somber scene. People swayed gently to the rhythm, some sharing quiet smiles despite their ongoing challenges. Melania's thoughtful words resonated deeply as she prepared to leave. "The strength of this community is extraordinary," she said to a gathered crowd. "Your spirit and unity are shining examples of what it means to face adversity with hope and determination. You know that you are not alone. Your voices will carry far beyond these fires." Her departure was met with heartfelt applause and gratitude. Many families expressed their appreciation for her visit, feeling heard and valued during one of the darkest times of their lives. Melania left the shelter with a promise to continue raising awareness and advocating for support for those impacted by the wildfires. In the days that followed, news of her compassionate visit spread, inspiring others to step up and provide aid. Donations poured in, volunteers arrived to assist in rebuilding efforts, and hope blossomed amidst the ashes of destruction. Melania's visit had left a powerful mark, not just through her words, but through her unwavering empathy and commitment to healing a community. As Melania's visit continued to make waves across Los Angeles, the impact was felt not just in the immediate aftermath, but also in the long-term recovery efforts. The media, initially skeptical of her involvement, began to highlight the warmth and sincerity she had shown. What had started as a single visit soon evolved into an ongoing movement of community support, with Melania becoming a central figure in encouraging further relief efforts. A few weeks after her visit, Melania returned to Los Angeles to check on the progress. She was met with even more hope than before. Families had begun to rebuild their homes. Businesses were starting to reopen, and the community, though scarred, was showing signs of regrowth. Many of the people she had met in the shelters were now back on their feet, and their resilience was a testament to the strength of their collective spirit. While there, she attended a ceremony where several firefighters, first responders, and volunteers were recognized for their tireless efforts during the fires. It was an emotional gathering, and Melania's presence spoke volumes about the ongoing importance of showing up for others, even in the face of tragedy. She stood alongside local leaders and first responders, visibly moved by the outpouring of gratitude. The ceremony was filled with touching speeches from those who had been directly affected by the fires, with one woman sharing how she had lost everything: her home, her possessions, but had found strength in the kindness of strangers and the solidarity of her neighbors. Melania took the stage to address the crowd. What has happened here in the aftermath of the wildfires is nothing short of extraordinary. It is not just about the physical rebuilding of homes and properties. It is about the rebuilding of lives, the restoration of hope, and the reaffirmation that together we can overcome even the most difficult challenges. Her words resonated deeply with the audience, and several attendees were seen wiping away tears. She had become more than just a first lady visiting a disaster zone. She had become a symbol of strength, compassion, and unwavering support. In the months that followed, Melania continued her advocacy, ensuring that the needs of the community remained at the forefront of public consciousness. She worked with various non-profit organizations, encouraging partnerships to provide long-term assistance. Through her advocacy, she was able to secure additional funding for mental health services, recognizing that the emotional toll of such a traumatic event was just as significant as the physical destruction. As time went on, the media continued to cover Melania's role in the recovery efforts, and people across the nation began to see her in a new light. No longer was she just a former First Lady, but an active and passionate advocate for communities in need. She was constantly in touch with those affected by the wildfires, visiting them when she could, offering comfort and reassurance, and helping to connect them with resources. The community, too, had started to rebuild in ways that went beyond physical structures. They had found strength in each other, forming deeper bonds of solidarity. Neighbors who had once been strangers were now close friends, sharing resources, supporting one another, and ensuring that no one was left behind. Melania's involvement continued to have a ripple effect. As more people rallied behind her cause, the recovery efforts grew more robust. The devastated landscapes began to show signs of life again, and in the hearts of the people, a new sense of hope and purpose was emerging. Years later, as the scars of the wildfires slowly faded into memory, the community that Melania had helped so profoundly remained stronger than ever. The recovery, though long, had created lasting changes that went beyond rebuilding homes. It had rebuilt spirits, reawakened a sense of pride in their community, and solidified bonds that would last for generations. When reflecting on her involvement, Melania often said, "Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do for others is simply to show up and let them know they are not alone." Her visit to Los Angeles had not just been about helping after a disaster, it had been a turning point for everyone involved. From the first responder to the young child she had met in the shelter, to the firefighters who tirelessly fought to protect the community, Melania's gesture of empathy had turned into something far more profound. In the years that followed, Melania continued her work supporting disaster recovery efforts across the country. Her ability to connect with people from all walks of life her empathy, and her tireless dedication to helping others made her a powerful force for positive change. The people of Los Angeles, forever grateful for her involvement, still talk about the day she visited. For many, it had been a beacon of hope in the midst of tragedy. Her actions, her unwavering commitment to their recovery, and her ability to inspire others to get involved in the healing process had changed lives forever. As the community moved forward, they never forgot the lessons learned during that dark chapter about the power of unity, the importance of showing compassion, and how, even in the wake of devastation, hope could always rise again. And it was all thanks to Melania Trump, whose presence in their lives had been a reminder that, sometimes, kindness and empathy are the greatest gifts we can give each other in times of crisis. Melania's presence in Los Angeles during the aftermath of the wildfires became a powerful symbol of hope and resilience. As the community struggled to recover from the devastation, her unwavering support provided a beacon of light in their darkest hour. She not only brought material assistance but, more importantly, the emotional strength needed to keep moving forward. From visiting those displaced by the fires to standing by first responders, Melania's actions reminded everyone that healing was possible, and no one had to face adversity alone. She listened, comforted, and inspired countless individuals, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts of the people she met. The bonds formed in the wake of the wildfires have stood the test of time, with the community continuing to thrive. Melania's influence didn't stop with her visit. It sparked a wave of solidarity that continued to grow long after the fires had been extinguished. The recovery was not just about rebuilding homes, it was about rebuilding lives, rekindling hope, and creating lasting connections among neighbors who had once been strangers. Through her compassion and dedication, Melania played a pivotal role in helping this community rise from the ashes, and her legacy remains a testament to the power of empathy and kindness in the face of unimaginable challenges.